My neighbor handed me a key and said, "If you ever hear screaming from my house, don't call the cops, just come inside." Gerald had lived next door for 2 years before he ever spoke to me. Quiet guy, kept to himself, never caused problems. So when he showed up at my door holding a key, I figured he needed me to water his plants or something. "This is for my house," he said. "If you ever hear screaming, don't call the police. Just come inside." I waited for the punchline. It didn't come. Why would I hear screaming? He didn't answer, just pressed the key into my palm. "Please, I don't have anyone else." Then he walked away. I should have asked more questions, should have demanded an explanation. Instead, I just stood there holding his key like an idiot. That night, I barely slept. The next night was worse. Every sound from his house made me flinch. A door closing, footsteps, the TV through the wall. I started imagining things. A woman tied up in his basement, a body in his freezer, some dark secret he needed a witness for. The key sat on my nightstand for 3 weeks. Every night I stared at it, wondering what I'd gotten myself into. The waiting was the worst part. Every night I'd lie in bed listening to the wall between our houses, waiting for a scream that might never come. I started noticing things. Gerald never left during the day. Blinds always closed. Groceries delivered to the porch. Once I heard something heavy hit the floor. Another time I heard what sounded like sobbing, low and muffled and going on for hours. I thought about calling the cops a dozen times, but his voice kept echoing in my head. "Don't call the police. Just come inside." 3 weeks in, I'd almost convinced myself it was nothing. Maybe Gerald was just weird. Maybe he had a sick relative. Maybe I'd imagined the whole thing. Then it happened. 1 a.m. on a Thursday. I was almost asleep when the scream ripped through the wall. Not a shout, not a yelp, a scream. The kind that comes from deep in your chest when something is very, very wrong. I shot up in bed, heart pounding, hands shaking. Another scream. Longer this time, more desperate. I grabbed my phone, thumb hovering over the emergency call button. Then I saw the key on my nightstand. His face flashed in my mind. The exhaustion, the way he said please like it cost him something. I put the phone down, grabbed the key, and walked out into the dark. I let myself in. The screaming led me down a dark hallway to a bedroom at the back of the house. I pushed open the door, and everything changed. Gerald was on the floor holding a grown man in his arms. The man was thrashing, screaming, eyes wide open but seeing nothing. Gerald had him wrapped in a bear hug from behind, not attacking, protecting. "You're okay, buddy. You're okay. I'm right here." The man screamed again, his body convulsed. Gerald held on. I stood frozen in the doorway. Gerald looked up at me, tears streaming down his face. "This is Oliver, my son." His voice was barely a whisper. "He's 26, severely autistic, nonverbal, night terrors since he was 8. Oliver started to calm slightly, still shaking, still making sounds, but quieter now. "His mother left when he was 3, Gerald continued. "It's just been us. Every night terror, every meltdown, every doctor's appointment, just us." I thought about the closed blinds, the groceries on the porch, the exhaustion in his eyes. It all made sense now. Last time I called 911, they sent 4 officers. They didn't understand. They pinned him down, cuffed him, treated him like a criminal. Gerald's voice broke. He was terrified for weeks, wouldn't let me touch him. My own son. I crossed the room and knelt beside them. "What do you need?" Gerald looked at me like I'd just thrown him a lifeline. "Just be here. Talk to him softly. New voices help sometimes. Bring him back." I put my hand on Oliver's arm, gentle, calm. "Hey, Oliver, I'm your neighbor. You're safe. Your dad's right here." Oliver was asleep by 2 a.m. Gerald and I sat in silence until the sun came up. Before I left, he grabbed my arm. "Thank you for not calling the cops." I nodded, didn't trust my voice. I went home and sat on my porch watching the sunrise. 3 weeks I'd spent imagining monsters, killers, criminals. The whole time it was just a father, exhausted, alone, doing everything he could for a son the world didn't understand.